Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Joey Areola.
Good morning, Mac. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Yesterday, Giannis finally brought down the Nets, as we all know, and it was good to see because he did it the right way with a great story, unlike LeBron James, who always tries to force feed us what he wants. Good job, Giannis.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. That wasn't yesterday, Joey. That was Tuesday.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Bears! Yay!
Hey, Yankees, you can take your apology out of your trophy and shove it straight up your ass.
And another thing, just wait till next year.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man. With a groove in his head.
Howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Mac McGee with Joey Areola. Joey, today is Thursday. How are you, sir?
It's been a quick week, as you just noticed. One day off there, but no, everything's going good. We're off to football season. Isn't that a great sign for all of us, man? I can't wait for it. The fantasy is going to be rolling out. I know you got the shows headed in that direction in some spots. So just happy about that. And then playoff trade deadline coming. So good stuff.
Yes, Sean and I, this Saturday, we are going to do a live mock on the payoff pitch. You'll notice over the next few weeks, the payoff pitch will slowly turn into the handicappers as we'll put fantasy baseball to bed. We'll still do a little content on there, but for all intents and purposes, if you don't have your team put together by now, there's only about 3 or 4 weeks left in the fantasy baseball season. It might be too late. It might be too late for you to turn it around, but we'll do a little content, but we're going to dive straight into fantasy football over the next few weeks. And then I'm going to do some content on something I didn't do last year, but I will do it this year. Now that the pandemic's over, we know we're going to get an actual season. I'll do some content on actual, position by position, much deeper than what I've been able to do here on the morning show. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into the Southeastern Conference because, wow, a couple of big things came out yesterday. The first thing that we'll skate over real quick is that Nick Saban said 90% of his players have gotten the jab. So he's claiming 90%. My question to you is, because there's other teams, according to Sankey, there are only 6 of the 14 schools are at the threshold, and his threshold he's wanting is at least 80%. That's bare minimum. Okay. My question to you is, if these guys don't get vaccinated and they have an outbreak, so to speak, and you end up having to forfeit a game, or you can't play a game that Saturday, should you have to forfeit, or should you be asking the other school to reschedule the game when there's not going to be a lot of leeway like there was last year? They're not putting an extra week at the end of the season, et cetera, et cetera. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot here because as much as I hate when people have to forfeit and things of that nature, and this is a vaccination that, again, shouldn't be, isn't mandatory, but obviously is wanted by most Americans. With scheduling, though, it makes that not easy. I mean, my football team, the Indianapolis Colts, are only about 50% vaccinated, at least in the NFL. So I'm going to have to deal with what they get handled this year, whether they run into that situation. So I'm kind of, I want to say no, but at some point with scheduling, don't we just really not have a choice of if they can't fit it somewhere and you guys chose not to get vaccinated, fine, but you might have to take the L. It might come down to those circumstances.
I honestly think that should be the case. And I'll tell you why I say that. It's because there's no reason why professional athletes which they are now. Don't give me this crap about how you're not a professional athlete. I'm seeing things like the Alabama quarterback making $1 million. I'm sorry, my friend, but you're now a professional athlete. Everyone on the Miami Hurricanes is a professional athlete because according to a local businessman, he's giving them all $500 a month just so that they tweet out good things about his business. Okay. So that right there, that makes you a professional athlete. If you're a professional athlete, you should take it serious. And this will be the fun thing that'll pop up out of this, right? What happens? The game gets canceled because you didn't get vaxxed. We'll just pick like the quarterback, right?
Right.
And let's say it is Alabama's quarterback, but well, not necessarily Alabama, whoever it is. They don't play or he doesn't play because he didn't get vaxxed. Will all of a sudden the sponsor pull out of the deal and say, I'm not paying you. You didn't get the vaccination, which means my product wasn't on the field. Why the hell do I want to be a part of this? There's going to be a lot of infighting. And I said it 2 years ago, and I'm going to say it again. This is probably the last time I'll say it. Probably not. But this was a total disaster and an extremely stupid thing that is going to kill college sports. It is going to make college sports no longer feel like it did before. And so I'm not saying people aren't going to watch it and they won't play, but college sports died on the vine on July 1st of 2021. It's a wrap because this is now semi-pro is essentially what this is.
Should we dig a gravestone?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially semi-pro.
I know. I agree with you. I mean, once you start paying like this, like you said, how could you justify if someone has made $1 million? I know it's not all, but that's a professional athlete. That guy's making big time money, comes with big time responsibility, just like COVID and anything else. Put your big boy shoes on, and it's gonna. I think like you said, you're gonna have some negative long term effects.
Yeah, and it's gonna be funny because all these for years. I know you live in a different area of the country, but for years I've spent most of my time in the South. I have lived in New York, Chicago, California, etc. But most of my time I spent in the South. And I'm telling you right now, your average Joe six-pack in the South has always leaned on that crutch of, I don't watch pro sports because they don't want it as much as these college. These college kids played for the love of the game, which is total horse crap. Because if you don't think an NFL player wants to win a championship, an NBA player wants to win a championship, et cetera, you're wrong. And if you think that these players weren't getting paid before, you're wrong. The only difference now is that the IRS is going to know about it. That's it. That's the only difference between what's going on then, what's going on now. And now there can be a public arms race, right? This is no longer, wink, wink, nod, nod. This is a public arms race now. So anyways, moving on from that, Texas in the Big 12, Oklahoma in the Big 12. What kind of ring does that have to you? Texas and Oklahoma could be headed to the Big 12. A new report came out this morning. I forwarded it to you. Did you see it on? Okay. According to Jason Whiteley, who is a college football reporter, he's saying early next week, the Texas Longhorns and University of Oklahoma will definitely send a letter to the Big 12 Conference. And it is going to be stating that neither school will renew their media contracts, which expire in 2025. So I know you're not emotionally invested in the Southeastern Conference like I am. But what say you from an outsider looking in on the big picture of this?
Part of me likes, having more relevant, conferences, but at the same time, if the Big 12, they haven't been too much as it is lately. I think maybe getting into the SEC and making this, a super conference type of deal almost, it might be not a bad direction. You're going to get a bunch of good teams in there. It's not like the Big 10 where they brought in like a Rutgers or anything like that. This is truly a shift. It's going to take some time though, because I'm sure things are going to have to be realigned each time they do one of these moves now. But like I said, the Big 12 was not surviving, so I do feel the sense of inevitability here.
In the very near future, meaning next week, Justin and I will dive into how we're going to bust up the rest of the Big 12, because this is the death of the Big 12. If you think losing Oklahoma and Texas can be absorbed in any way, there's absolutely no way, because there's Oklahoma and Texas carry that brand. It's not like the Southeastern Conference where you have several schools, although I will say if you lost like an Alabama and let's just say Alabama and Auburn, let's say Alabama and Auburn left to go to the Big 12 or wherever, that would be a mighty blow. But I think they could absorb it. They'd lick the wounds, pick up the pieces, and away they go. Oklahoma, Texas leaves the Big 12. I bet your average Joe can't name you 3 teams outside of that play in the conference.
Yeah, and like you said, it's going to end that way. Then you're going to break it down next week, but this conference is not going to last once you lose those 2 teams.
Yeah,
just can't.
It's you look at the rest of the league, and I mean, you've got some decent schools here like Oklahoma State, et cetera, but they're going to have to bust off and they're going to have to figure out where their bread is buttered. Some might go to the ACC, some might go to the Big 10, Pac-12. I think what you'll end up with, you can't, if they don't and they stay together and they add like a BYU, which would be very possible, I don't know if you can call it a power conference anymore. I think you would have to go down to Power 4, because you can't call something a Power 5 that doesn't have you got to have a college football stalwart in your conference. You have to have at least one. You know, the ACC's got Clemson, they've got Florida State, they've got Miami. Granted, those 3 teams dip. That thing's a basketball conference. I mean, that's just Big East Light is what that is. But SEC has about 5 or 6, so that's why they could absorb 2. But what if the Big 10 lost Michigan and Ohio State? This is the equivalent. If Michigan and Ohio State dipped out of the Big 10 and said, we're going to go play for the SEC or ACC or wherever, you'd be like, well, what's the point of the Big 10 anymore? I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to sit here and get locked into the Big 10 championship when it ends up being, I mean, on a great year, Penn State and Wisconsin. On a down year, you'd be like, well, what are we getting here this weekend? We're getting Northwestern is going to take on the Spartans for some kind of a title. No one's going to respect that.
Might as well watch paint dry.
It really is the equivalent, because when I saw that, I was like, man, the first thing popped in my head is, well, what is the equivalent of this, right? It would be like losing Ohio State, Michigan. It really would. It would be like the Pac-12 losing Southern Cal. And you name the second team, it really doesn't matter. Let's say it's Southern Cal and Oregon. Yeah, is that really still a football conference? A power conference? Yeah. Anyways.
Nope.
Exactly. Other big things going on in the world of sports. Did you see this story? China has dumped LeBron James. They made the statements either yesterday or the day before. They will not carry Space Jam 2 in their theaters.
Yeah, it's about the first thing.
Boot looking, all that ass kissing. LeBron James isn't going to get his crappy movie into the theaters into China, which is the whole reason why he was doing what he did, because he knew he had a big movie coming out. He wanted it to play in China. And now, all that boot looking and ass kissing later, it's all for naught. So will he finally take a stand against what went down, or what continues to go down in China and Hong Kong?
I mean, he has such a strong voice on everything else that he thinks he should get involved in. So why not do it here? This is the first good thing China's done in years, in my opinion, and that's screw over LeBron James. So to me, hey, put your foot down, be a man about it. I mean, you set up this movie to be broadcasting mostly over there. You know, the NBA following is huge over there. You're not getting it. I think it's time for him to man up and take a stand.
But do you think David Stern, sorry, not David Stern, Adam Silver, I was thinking of back when the NBA actually had a commissioner. Do you think Adam Silver will go, don't do it? I know what you're thinking, LeBron. Don't say it. You're going to crush us over there. We're still trying to sell jerseys over there.
Yeah, probably. You know, we know how that all works from the top down. They'll probably get together and have a conversation, be like, hey, let's save face and keep, things going. Because as the NBA knows, they need to keep things up over there. If they lose, somehow they start to lose the China market, watch out. That could be scary. So they might put the kibosh on him, and he might have to follow the lead on this one.
So once that this thing in the NCAA got rolling where you can pay your players and it opens things up, right? And so you can no longer call them amateur athletes. And that was always the sticker of, if you went and played professional baseball, you can't come back and play college baseball. Now that that's pretty much gone away and LeBron goes to crap here in a few years where, everyone ages and they're not as good anymore. You think LeBron will come back and finally play college basketball? Because think about the jerseys he could sell if he went and played. We'll say Kentucky, right?
Well, he gets
basketball. LeBron James at 50 years old, they're still going to sell the hell out of those.
He gets involved with his kid enough on the high school floor, so I don't see why he shouldn't go team up and ruin his college career and be a shadow over him once again.
Just go to the same college, go to ball hog the entire time, pop his old ass head into parties that his kid doesn't want him at.
His kid's averaging like 6 points and sitting in the corner at parties.
Dad, would you go home? Oh, you ruined everything.
You've been with me since warm-ups at 7 a.m.
Oh, are you even going to class, Dad? Oh. The other big news was Maria Taylor. I called it. She got fired from ESPN. They're saying we're not going to renew her contract. She got dumped because she played that card that she didn't have in her pocket, and she did it it was a very underhanded thing that she did. She leaked the audio. Her team leaked the audio. They could try to say it any other way. Maria Taylor's team leaked the audio because she was involved in a contract negotiation because she wanted to jack the price up. You know what ESPN said? We're going to finally do something that fans will like, and that is we're not going to kowtow to you, and we're going to go ahead and tell you kick rocks, and we'll sign someone else. And the other funny thing was NPR releasing their statement because they were ready to complain about, because NPR is so far left woke, right?
Yep.
Did you see what they did with their statement? They showed
I did not.
They put a picture of, are you familiar with who Kimberly Martin is? I know.
Not really.
Okay, so she's an ESPN contributor. Okay. You'll normally see her on, I'm trying to think of what the hell I see her on. I think it's Get Up that she shows up on.
Okay.
And she might be on Around the Horn, but I don't know. It seems like they put everyone on Around the Horn when they don't know what else to do with them.
Yeah. So true.
She seems like a nice lady or whatever.
Right.
I'm not killing her, but NPR took her picture and put it as a screen grab and said Maria Taylor will not be brought back by ESPN.
Wow.
Kimberly Martin is black, by the way. So far left woke NPR, they can't tell the difference between Maria Taylor and Kimberly Martin. And there's a huge difference. They're not doppelgangers by any stretch of the imagination. So once again,
ESPN.
No, this was NPR that did this.
Oh yeah. No, okay. Yeah. No. You're right. I was okay. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. So NPR did this. They grabbed the wrong picture, and now they're backstroking, and they put out a statement.
Of course.
Where they question, where they apologize. And what if I were NPR? I'd be like, well, we put some idiot in charge that doesn't watch sports. Sorry. That's what I would say. Because I'm going to guess what happened was that they Googled the picture. Because I have to do this all the time when we are releasing our media files, and I Google a picture like today. Now this is different because this is coming in inside the actual video with Dalvin Cook. But I'm talking about when this show gets reposted as the instant replay. I'll grab a picture of Dalvin Cook because we're talking Minnesota Vikings later.
Yep.
And I guarantee you somebody Googled Maria Taylor, and her picture and Kimberly Martin's picture came up for whatever reason. And whoever did it did not know who she was, who Maria Taylor was, or what she looked like. And they just grabbed it and shared it. I guarantee you that's what happened. But they are backstroking, and what they look like is a bunch of racists. So there's that.
A lot to uncover there that they'll try to hide.
NPR is the first one to call people racist, and they did one of the most racist things that you can do. And before we hit the break here, it looks like the Oakland A's are kicking and skipping. What city do you see them in?
I say this a lot for teams, I feel like, but Viva Las Vegas sounds quite lovely, doesn't it? Get a baseball team in there in a new market. They already put the football stadium up that's going to open with fans for the first time this fall. So I think Vegas makes a lot of sense. What about you?
Yeah, if they do go to Vegas, something tells me that they are going to they'll probably still keep the nickname of the Athletics. But I mean, if it were me and I wanted to really sell some things, bro, why is someone not grabbed the name the Las Vegas Gamblers? I mean, come on. I mean, pay whatever you got to pay to get the old Kenny Rogers song playing in the background at every one of your games. And you could make so much money if the next professional sports team would become the Las Vegas Gamblers. I know they're a little concerned to do that because, like, dude, what you're saying is these guys are gambling and it's baseball. Yeah, Pete Rose, hello. But the point is, you could sell a lot of gear.
Hey, and times are just like everything else in the world. Times are changing, and people are gambling anyway, right?
Right, exactly. But it would be really ironic, and the people who love Pete Rose would go, "You can't call them gamblers," but that's what I would do. If it's not Las Vegas, I think the logical place would be Nashville. I've got 4 cities essentially: Las Vegas, Nashville, but you got to put them in the American League, and the A's are already in the American League, so that works. Montreal would be my number 3. And you know what? We'll just cap it at that. I've got one other, but I don't think any are better than those 3. So I say Vegas, Montreal, or Nashville, and really just comes down to where they would want to go. Do they think they'll make more money in Vegas? Do they think they'd be more money in the Music City capital or in Montreal on the East Coast? But it is Canada. So it's between Vegas and Nashville.
Hey, both great spots.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, honestly, any 3 of those cities, it would work. I believe. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk the Minnesota Vikings. We got a couple other things in store for you. Keep it locked in here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here to CBS Sports Radio and the Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live.
You like that?
You know, you're with somebody as resilient as Frank Reynolds.
You tried to off yourself 2 times in the last 24 hours, Frank.
Here in St. Augustine, Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms. They buy and sell used guns. Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. The friendly gun shop, a proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterbacks. ACC football covered like no other here on the Armchair Quarterback.
Against the blitz. Touchdown, Florida State. Rock Preston scores the touchdown. And now it's Bowden's decision. And he sends Mowry onto the field right away. Danny Cannell is the holder. Mowry ties it. This game is over. A 31-31 tie. A 31-31 tie.
A deep throw by Lawrence. A lot of contact. Justin Ross broke free from it. He's down in the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson.
Justin Ross, a freshman wide receiver, big, rangy, and Trevor Lawrence knows, throw it up against that single coverage, give him a chance to make a play on a 50-50 ball.
If you're a fan of the ACC, pull up an armchair. You're home.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody's grabbing out there. Nobody's touching. Just grabbing, everybody. Grab, grab, grab. Nobody touching.
You're riding morning shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays. Your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar. You can listen with your whole family.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Geico knows there are many reasons why you ride. From the exciting adventure of the daily commute to the peace of mind that Geico always has your back with 24/7 access to claim service and legendary customer service. But Pamela Mund had one reason in particular.
My skin is extremely averse to most fabrics, except for the soft, buttery feeling of leather. Thankfully, I found my clan of leather lovers in the biking community. It's been life-changing.
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
We're crab people now.
We're crab people now?
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for spending your mornings here with us here on the Armchair Quarterbacks, YouTube Live, CBS Sports Radio. Joe Ariola with us today. We're going to jump into the Minnesota Vikings here in 1 second. Joey, I'll give you a second to pull it up because I don't think I put it on our docket. I meant to. Pull up the lines for today. I guess we really only have one place to go is Major League Baseball, huh? There's not a whole, I mean, unless you really want to get weird with your gambling, you go into some the heck is that, a freaking encore? I gotta figure out which song that was. Oh my god. Anyways, I'll figure it out later, but or I won't. This will happen again in 3 months.
Whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. Okay, so back into. I'm going baseball. I don't know if you have another weird sport you're going to bet on today. But,
I'll go baseball today.
There's not a lot of games, but there are a few. And where are you going today on your pick of the day?
I'm actually going to go with the Cleveland Indians, home against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow.
And I know that might be as a surprise to some people, but you know, a couple of average pitchers on the mound. Cleveland's home. Tampa Bay, obviously they're 18 games over 500, playing very good ball, but I'm going to take the plus. I know Tampa Bay's minus 140, but I'm going to take the plus with Cleveland, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to take Cleveland money line.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with hate doing this because I hate jinxing my team, but I think I'm going to go with Charlie Morton minus 140. The Atlanta Braves are in Philly going up against Matt Moore. And I get it that the Phillies are a game in front of the Braves, and maybe that's why, and they're at home. But dude, Charlie Moore's been pitching phenomenally. And Matt Moore, I looked at it this morning. It's like it's about a 5.5 ERA. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's where I'm going with that. Charlie Morton and the Braves. Big series begins tonight in Atlanta. As Atlanta, for people that missed it, want to know what happened to that doubleheader. Atlanta lost the first one, and then the second one is suspended. They're going to they're going to pick up where they left off if they can. They don't know when the next time the Padres and Braves will line up where they're able to meet back in Atlanta to play a ball game. Because for all intents and purposes, it's going to be really difficult. They may punt it to the end of the season and see if they even need it, right? So if they don't need it, they obviously,
right.
But right now, Atlanta's down 1 run going into the bottom of the 5th inning. So they couldn't just assume that there was a win, because you have to have the thing about these kooky doubleheaders, they never change the rules as far as calling it an official game. So it's 7 innings. They didn't say if you get through 3 or 4 innings, you're good. It's still, you have to get through the bottom of the 5th if it's the home team. Or if Atlanta would have been on the road and it would have been the same scenario, then the Padres would have gotten the W. But Atlanta's got to have a chance to plate 5 times to call it an official game. And because they're the home team, it never happened. Here's the stupidest part about this. They played the first game at 12:20, 7-inning game, lasted a couple hours. They didn't play the second game till 5:20.
Stupid.
And
it's so dumb.
Yeah, and they knew that this weather has been crushing Atlanta. They had a rain out on Monday. They danced around rain on Tuesday. They knew this was a possibility. Why the hell wouldn't you play this as early as possible? And then that way, if there is a delay, you can work that in. Plus, it was the end of the series. It was a money grab by the Atlanta Braves organization. Whoever made that actual decision, and I don't know if that comes from a team president or who makes that decision. That was a money grab because they're figuring if the game ends around 3:00 local time, you don't want to spend the next 2.5 hours in the stands waiting for a second game to start. So
get another beer, get another shirt.
So they figure you're going to go home and they can sell more tickets that way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess you could sell more tickets, but can people also stay in the stadium and just keep, are they allowed to do that and just keep drinking and buying more gear if they want to?
Usually when they call it split double header, you cannot. Usually they clear the stadium and they specifically called it a split double header. So I don't believe so.
This is random. I didn't even know the Braves have the best. I'm just looking at it here, the best run differential in their division. I'm surprised they're under 500, but I know you have Braves country for that whole show, but
yeah, our bullpen sucks. And so, and there's a lot of other factors. Our manager gets out managed in every game.
I'll watch Braves country for that.
Bang my head against the wall every morning. It's one of the first things I do in the mornings. I do Braves country. I barely have a cup of coffee and go, God, what the hell? Stupid baseball. I hate it.
You're killing me.
See y'all tomorrow. Okay. Minnesota Vikings. So today is Minnesota Viking Day. And this is a team that I think you could argue three ways to nowhere on where their season could end. You could convince me that this team is going to win the division. This team's going to be a wild card, or you could convince me this team is going to be absolutely terrible and not even make the playoffs, not even sniff the playoffs. Because there's so many question marks going into this season. But with that being said, we got to make some kind of proclamation, so to speak. And
yes, we do.
the biggest thing is this. You know what that shocked me when I looked at this morning, or actually last night. The fact that Zimmer has been there 8 years. This is his 9th year as a head coach.
Wow.
In some ways, it feels like he's been there 30, and in other ways, I'm like, how the hell has he survived 8 seasons? Because he's never really done anything. Now he's 66, 50, and 1, which is impressive to a degree. But that just tells you that this fan base is much more patient than other fan bases.
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't for the Minnesota Miracle, I don't even remember like too big of a moment besides the Diggs one coming up lately.
Yeah, and they're 2-3 in the postseason. And so to that point, that was their one day to shine, right? Because they got handled the next week. And then, of course, they had they went into New Orleans a couple of years ago and upset them, didn't they?
Yeah, and then I think they had to go on the road to San Francisco after that and took the loss. But they did get Rudolph got that touchdown in the corner. Wasn't there a little? I think there was a little controversy again with Minnesota and New Orleans on a play, Kyle Rudolph push off or something like that.
Yes. I do remember that. So they're going to come into this season, and here's the biggest thing that jumps out at me. This team was top 4 in defense for 3 consecutive years. 3 consecutive years. And everyone that plays fantasy football knows this because, dude, you wanted Minnesota's defense. And then in 2019, they fell all the way down to 14. And they're going to rebound. Man, I'm telling you, Minnesota's built on defense that they're going to rebound. They fell to 27th last year. And anyone who drafted them, they didn't keep them. They were gone quick. They're like, what the hell's going on around here? So that's pretty much going to be, if they have not figured out the defense, which look, when you got Danielle Hunter and you've got Tomlinson and you've got Anthony Barr and Kendricks in the linebacking core, and you add Patrick Peterson to that mix, Mackenzie Alexander, his own right, and then Harrison Smith, who I think is kind of underrated.
Yes.
As a hell of a safety. You've got something there to be able to build on, and they did make that effort to make sure that they came back, right? So the parts are there for the defense. And a little known fact, the games that he played, the games he was healthy, Dalvin Cook averaged 137 yards from the line of scrimmage in 2020. Now that's the key, is keeping him healthy. We know he's had injury history for a long time. He had it at Florida State. So this guy, he's going to be the cog in the engine that makes that offense go. And that defense has got to be, because if the defense could return to somewhere in that, top 4 might be a little unrealistic. But when you look at his information coming out on all these guys coming back, right? All these guys coming back on defense. And some guys that they brought back that had left him. The kid from Cincinnati, his name's escaping me, but they signed him from the Bengals that originally was with them all prior to the Bengals signing. Alexander, that's who it was.
Yeah.
So this team is set up to where they could get some W's.
Oh, I mean, I definitely think so. Last year, I was the year, I don't want to say early because this year hasn't happened yet, but I thought they'd be pretty good and they kind of stumbled. But Zimmer's a defensive guy. I think with getting a little healthier, they got a couple young rookies from last year in the defensive back who played pretty well, and adding in a Patrick Peterson. As we mentioned, though, Dalvin Cook has to stay healthy. I think he's obviously their best player and most pivotal to them. The receiving core, Justin Jefferson, filled in nicely for Diggs. I really think if Cook can stay healthy and Zimmer can get the defense back on track, if it's an Aaron Rodgers list division, the Vikings will be on top of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers kicks rocks, then this team's chances of winning the division go skyrocketing. Because if you take Aaron Rodgers out of the division, you're talking about Jordan Love getting Green Bay. Oh my God. What did we have them predicted on Green Bay? We on a 17-game season, I think
11-6, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it was somewhere in that neighborhood. Even I think we were talking to if things fell right, it could be 12-5, 13-4 kind of thing. But
Correct.
if you take him out of the equation, no matter how good Jordan Love may be in the future, it's going to be a learning curve where they're going to be lucky to be 8-9, 7-10. And what are the are the Lions gonna
the monsters of the Midway in Chicago? My Chicago boys would love that.
Are the Lions gonna start biting kneecaps to a division title? I don't know about that. I would give the Bears a better chance.
If Justin Fields is a star, why not?
But at that point, the division's winnable because I believe 10 wins might win the division.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
When you look at this offense and we know what Dalvin Cook does, but the rest of the offense, Adam Thielen's kind of starting to take a back seat to Justin Jefferson, and Thielen was banged up last year. So that's got a lot to do with it. But even still, if you look at the averages there, Thielen had 74 catches for 925 yards, not terrible. Decent year, but Justin Jefferson 88 for 1,400. That's huge. That's a huge difference. And they lose Kyle Rudolph. He moves on.
Yeah, I was going to say their tight end department. I see like Irv Smith Jr. and Tyler Conklin here as their top two. I don't know. Maybe they have a little improvement to do there, but the whiteouts and running backs are spectacular.
Yeah, and Irv Smith Jr. He had some there were times where he's looked very good, but he's also young and he's been inconsistent. And a guy that came from Alabama, you're gonna like that, right?
Absolutely.
So, it's very rare a guy comes from Alabama and doesn't know how to play professional football because essentially that's what he's doing down in Alabama. This guy's not, I see Irv Smith Jr., but he's not related. This isn't like the son of Irv Smith, the broadcaster, is it? Or Grant? It can't, because I'm looking for it. I don't see it anywhere on his Wikipedia page. No, it is. Okay. I did not know that.
Wow. I didn't either.
His father, Irv Smith, played in the National Football. Well, maybe this isn't the same Irv Smith. This isn't the same Irv Smith. Okay. This is not him.
They got us.
He does co-host a sports radio show, but if this was the Irv Smith, his career would have started much earlier, because Irv Smith was in the CBS booth long before this. But anyways, I thought maybe it was his kid. If you put, well, I don't know.
Maybe
evidently there's too many Irv Smiths to keep up with, but I don't believe that he's related to the Irv Smith. He's evidently that there's an Irv Smith that because that doesn't line up, because this Irv Smith would be in his 50s, and that just doesn't line up. Or Irv Smith, if he's still with us, and I hate bringing this up because I really don't know, but if Irv Smith is still with us, he's got to be in his 70s or 80s.
Maybe he could be on the birthday list soon.
Man,
I didn't say which one. I'm
gonna look up Irv Smith, the broadcaster, because now you got me freaking out over here. Oh, it's not Irv Smith. His name. Wait a minute. I'm thinking of Irv Cross. Whole time I've been thinking Irv Smith. It's Irv Cross. Is that right? Damn, I thought his name was Irv Smith, because I actually put up Irv No, it is Irv Cross because that's exactly who I was thinking of.
I think you're thinking of Stephen A. Smith a little too much.
No, I
over the
wasn't
past
thinking about
couple-
Stephen.
I'm kidding.
I was thinking of Irv Cross, but I don't know why I thought his name was Irv Smith. But there is a broadcaster named Irv Smith, and I don't know who the hell that is. But evidently, that's I've got him because Irv is not a very common name. So
No, it is not.
I don't know. So I guess I don't know who the hell Irv Smith is. I was thinking of Irv Cross because I want to say that he's got a tie to the Vikings as well. So, anyways, we'll move on to that before I do some NPR stuff over here. Let's go ahead and move on to. Let's go ahead and hit their schedule because you look at their schedule and. This is where I get lost on this because I've got my initial prediction that I always write down before we get to talking. And then I'm always curious how I actually can convince myself where it goes. So they start off with the Bengals and Cardinals on the road, and then they're at home with the Seahawks and Browns. Where do you have them after those 4 games?
I'm going to go 2-2.
What are their 2 wins? Cincinnati and who? Seattle?
Yeah, I'm going to go Cincinnati and Seattle, actually, exactly like that. Just because at Arizona, I think Cleveland's roster, if healthy, boy, oh boy. So 2-2 wins against Seattle and Cincinnati.
Okay. I think I'm starting to drink their Kool-Aid. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say they're 3-1. I don't think they're going to Arizona in Arizona. That's going to be tough. But they're going to be in the dome. The only caveat is it looks like that Seattle game is a 4:25 kickoff. That helps Seattle big time.
Correct.
But that might be a little too generous. But I'm going to go ahead and roll with it. 3-1. Then they got the Lions at the Panthers, home against the Cowboys, and at the Ravens. Where are they at after that, and where are the wins and losses coming?
Man, I'm gonna have them at 5-3 and 3-1 in this stretch, and their 1 loss. I'm gonna give it actually to the Cowboys. Are gonna take the game from them in the 1 loss, but I think they'll win the Lions, Panthers, and Ravens game.
All right, so I must be drunk because I've got them 6-2 now. Because I do believe they're going to beat the Cowboys. I don't know why, but they always play the Cowboys tough no matter what, and I expect them to have a good team. So I think they're going to beat the Cowboys. The Ravens game is the scary one for me. But they should beat the Lions because it's in Minnesota. And at the Panthers, though, that's a tough one. I mean, if I've got them rolling, I might as well have them rolling. They're 6-2. They're 6-2, and they're heading to the Chargers at home against the Packers, at the 49ers, and at the Lions. Because, by the way, I just don't think that they can beat Baltimore in Baltimore. It's too tough. Especially if I've got them 6-1 at that point. And eventually something bad happens, injury, whatever. Dalvin Cook goes, I'm not playing this game. I'll see y'all next week, man. I'm not getting banged up by the ghost of Ray Lewis. So at Chargers, home against Packers, at 49ers, at Lions. Where are they at after that?
I got them at 7-5 and going 2-2. It's going to be a little surprising, but since I have them winning that big Ravens game we just talked about, I'm going to have them losing at Chargers, I think, in a 3:00 game. They just come out flat and Herbert goes off, but then they'll get it back together against Green Bay and San Fran, but lose a division game on December 5th at Detroit and make our friend happy.
I think they will lose to Detroit at Detroit. That is going to be a very tough game. Look, I still think Detroit's going to be sneaky tough.
I do too. I think that trade was great.
Yeah, their record may not be outstanding, but you're not going to want to play the Lions. And they're going to drop either at the Chargers or at the 49ers.
Correct.
And I think they'll beat Green Bay. So I've got them at 8-4. And now we head into the home stretch. Home against the Steelers, at the Bears, at home against the Rams, at the Packers, and at home against the Bears.
Woo!
Oh, hope I said that right. Steelers at Bears, Rams at Packers, at home against the Bears. Okay.
Yep, correct. I'm going to have them going 3-2 in those final 5, and that will finish them at 10-7, which we said if that's an Aaron Rodgers-less division, that would be the cream of the crop. If it's not, different story, but I got them at 10-7. That should be enough for the wild card at least.
They're going to beat the Steelers. I think they'll lose to the Bears. Rams and Packers. There is a good chance. You know what? I'm going to hit that. I'll do you one better. I'll go 11-6. Just looking at the totality of it, the fact that they bolstered their defense, assuming everyone stays healthy, but Dalvin Cook, what he can bring to the table, and even Alexander Madison, he's one of the best backups in the National Football League.
Oh, no doubt.
He had 435 yards, 434 yards last year.
He's nice in fantasy when Cook gets injured. That's for sure.
It's going to come down to what Cousins does. Remember, the beginning of the season last year, they started off 1-5. He had 10 interceptions, but then he finished off with a total of 35 touchdowns and only 3 more interceptions along the way. And he had almost 4,300 yards passing. I mean, this team, and they've got a big decision to make, by the way. He's going to hit the cap at 31 million this year, right? Next year, he's going to hit the cap at 45 million.
Oh my gosh.
And after that, they're going to have to decide, are they going to re-sign him or are they going to go with, but that gives him 2 years. Because I think they're stuck no matter what. That cap hit's going to hit him at 45 million, unless they were to trade him or something, right? But I don't think cutting him gets you out of the cap hit, right? So Kellen Mond, they've got 2 years to build him up. They drafted him out of Texas A&M in the 3rd round. That's going to be the key to this, to the longevity of Zimmer in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, he's been there 9 years, and eventually the timer runs out. I know his counterpart Marvin Lewis lasted like
develop Mond. Dalvin Cook will still have a few good years left. Justin Jefferson will be hitting his prime. That's going to be the key. That is going to be the key to Zimmer making it long term. And I say long term, I mean, is he going to be a 20-year guy? Can he develop Mond and make if that was a bust, if you blow a 3rd round pick, it usually comes back to bite you in the ass.
I mean, yeah, we all know coaches and GMs are linked to these quarterbacks, and Cousins, they might not have to necessarily fully tie themselves to, but Kellen Mond is the project. And I've talked to a couple of Vikings fans who are just ready for Cousins to be done. So I think a lot's going to lean on the hands of Kellen Mond that will affect a lot of people in that organization.
I agree. Let's go ahead and turn back time, get the hell on out of here on a beautiful Thursday morning as what the hell is it my wife said to me last night? It made me laugh because I knew that today was Thursday. Because
I didn't.
Well, I always know it because I know who I'm doing the show with the next day. So I know that I just made contact with you, texting what we're going to do on the show. So I know it's Thursday, right? Because that doesn't change. If it was just same 2 guys doing it every day, then it would run into a blur. She said something, and normally she's off on Thursdays. She had to cover for someone who's sick, and the short of it is, I said, okay, so you're working, She goes, yeah. She goes, but it doesn't really matter because we're not even there yet. It's only tomorrow's Wednesday. I said, no, tomorrow's Thursday. Today's Wednesday. She says, no, it's not. I said, yeah, it is. She looked at me. She goes, oh crap, I was supposed to get something done.
I was going to say, usually that's a sigh of relief.
Well, here's the point. Here's the point. Don't let your boss know that it's Thursday today. Make your boss think it's Wednesday. As soon as you walk in the door, the first thing you do, happy hump day. Just keep it going. All right, it's time to turn back time. All right. On this date, in 1906, without a single assist registered by his Cincinnati teammates, Bob Ewing beats the Phillies 10-3. Long Bob Stellar will post a 2.38 ERA. He will finish the season 13-14 on the year. He didn't have a single assist in the entire game. That you know how difficult that is. Also on this date in 1909, Ty Cobb steals 3 bases in 1 inning when the first place Tigers beat the Red Sox 6-0. The 22-year-old Georgia Peach will lead the majors in steals in 73 bases. This doesn't happen anymore. We don't get stolen base, and I miss it. And they're trying to come up with things to improve the stolen base numbers. We'll see what happens down the road. But the generalization of guys just don't run anymore kind of sucks. Atlanta, I think, steals more than a lot of teams, and they usually get thrown out. At least they try.
At least they're trying to get the ball the people moving.
Okay, birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
All right, let's go with the dead guy. Start this one up. Sonny Liston was born on this date in 1930. He would have been 90. I did not know this. He died in 1970. Sonny Liston, for people
famous boxer, right?
Famous boxer. For people who are like, why do I know that name? Why do I know that? Sonny Liston is the guy that got beat by Cassius Clay before he became Muhammad Ali. To become Cassius Clay became heavyweight champion of the world. But I did not know that he died at such an early age. I'll have to look into why that is. No one ever tells you about stuff like that. I'm sure I was as a kid going, Sonny Liston's a pretty good boxer, wasn't he? And my parents and grandparents were like, that was a shame what happened to him. yeah, he's good. Keep happy thoughts in his head. Dave Steeb. He is, wow, is he really 64 years old today? Do you remember a Dave Steeb?
I do not know that name, no.
He pitched for the Toronto Blue Jays in their heyday in the mid-late 80s into the early 90s. Dave Steeb was a 7-time All-Star. He was the guy, the cornerstone of the Blue Jays pitching staff right before they became elite. Because once they brought in his name's escaping me, the guy from the A's. Once they brought him in, then he became the king of the rotation. But Dave Steeb, like in the early to mid to late 80s, so we're talking like Don Mattingly days of the New York Yankees. Dave Steeb, man, he was no joke, and the Blue Jays were always good, and that was back when you only had 4 divisions in all of baseball, and you would always look at the divisions trying to figure why the hell is Atlanta in the West? What the hell is going on here? But yeah. Dave Steeb, happy 64th birthday. As far as we know, you're still kicking, and good for you. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Well, I got to do this on Sunday night at about 10:15. The #1 trending thing in all reports, Sports Center, and even hit Bleacher Report. My guy John Cena, WWE, is back. Yes, he's had some questionable moves outside of it, but it was all over Twitter and trending. And he was my favorite superstar from a kid. I'm sure a bunch of people have seen him movies and all over the Fast and Furious crap now, but it was good to see the 10-year-old come out at me on Sunday night and see my guy get back in the ring. So that was a pretty cool moment for me, as he's been a longtime wrestler and a huge part of the industry.
Was he still bootlicking China?
I knew you. I saw your tweet at me in the middle of that, and I knew I was going to get some crap. But I love John Cena ever since I was a little kid.
Opinion on him until that, and now he disgusts me. He's LeBron James of the wrestling world. That's just. But just like I get it. Your heroes are your heroes. I get it. I didn't find out till very, very late in life how many times Waylon Jennings had run-ins with the law. So
we all have our suspects,
which explains a lot.
And Mac's always going to put my favorite people down anyway. Just wait for Carson Wentz.
Well, I will say this: John Cena is no Carson Wentz. We'll just leave it at that. My walk off for the day is, and I don't do this much, but if you're one that believes in prayer and all that kind of stuff, say one today for the great Bobby Bowden. He revealed yesterday that he's got terminal illness. He didn't say what it was. And I don't really care what he has because it's not really the point. Let his private life be his private life. But 91 years old today, and hopefully he makes it to 92 and beyond.
Best wishes.
The best college football coach of my generation, and arguably in the history of college football, will at least say in the 20th century. You can put Nick Saban there, but he played in a different era, so it's hard to compare the two. You didn't have playoffs. I guarantee you, if Bowden's teams were able to play in playoffs, he would have a lot more than 2 national championships, because at the season's end, he had 14 consecutive years, 14, this will never be touched, where his team finished in the top 5 in the AP poll. His teams were playing the best football at the end of the season, always. Everyone was always saying that at the end of the year. And I'm talking about national pundits. They were like, man, if Florida State was in this game, they'd probably kick the crap out of either one of these teams. He would get this one bad loss, whether it was a wide right or something wouldn't go his way, and then he would just run off. He innovated the offense in college football. Long before the RPO, there was Bowden's no-huddle shotgun offense that he basically gave to the Buffalo Bills. And so Bowden, innovator, and he did something kind of like the way your boy Giannis talked about. Anyone can go somewhere and join and win a championship. It's kind of like the way I feel about Nick Saban, because Nick Saban went to Alabama, had all the tools in place, and could do it. Fair. Bowden had a chance to get hired by Alabama in the late 80s. He said, nah, you know what? I want Tallahassee's my home now. And this is a kid that played for Bear Bryant and was from Alabama. And he said, you know what? I want to build my own legacy. I don't want to be under the shadow of Bear Bryant. And
takes a lot of balls to do that.
Yeah. He took a Florida State team, by the way, that was on the brink of extinction. The 2 years prior to Bowden showing up in 1976, they'd won 3 games, and they were talking about getting rid of the program. He came down from West Virginia, and the rest is history. And one of only 5 teams now that have been considered dynasties during their time period. And it wasn't until recently that Alabama was added to that list. I know you would think all these Bear Bryant teams that they were never considered a dynasty, but the Nick Saban one has now been considered a dynasty officially. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here and have a great rest of your day. We got some good baseball today. Tomorrow, we're going to head out west for Football Friday. Cannot wait. Should be a lot of fun. We'll see you mañana.
Have a good one, Mac.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.